Hello, everyone. It's finally Friday, or at least I hope it's Friday, or else I'm on the wrong schedule. What is up, Sapuros? Paul, I love you, brother. T-Bone. KP, what's up, man? Steven, how are you? Oi, 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 Paul. I am going to jump right into it. We have a guest in the studio. I have mentioned it many, many times before. We are all excited for this. Let's give a shout out to our dear friend Kai.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
So Kai has taken some time out of his very busy schedule. He is literally stopping by on his way elsewhere to hang out with us, talk a little bit about art, and to talk about some of the things that we have behind me that you've been staring at all week. So in front of you, front and center, is the Yoda that has blown mind after mind as I have put it on camera. T-Bone has been, every time Trevor comes into the studio, he fondles the Yoda. I will let you guys figure out what I mean by that, but that is his jam. So Kai, this is our group. Hellbold, what's up, man? Love you, brother. I want to talk a little bit about you. Now, how long have you been an artist? What your definition of an artist?
I started art back in high school. You know, I was raised in California, but my parents sent me to China just to study, and they enrolled me into like the art schools there. Like I attended like an art high school, and I was there for like a year and a half, and that's kind of where I got my jump start, at least in drawing. So. I'm 20, I'm 27 this year, so it's been more than a decade. You know,
Nice.
yeah.
So, what was the moment that you realized that, hey, was it somebody that came to you and said, you're doing great, or did you look at something and go, hey, I think I can do this?
Honestly, it has always been kind of an uphill battle, I'm not gonna lie. Like, like when I first went to China, right? I went there not because I liked art. I went there as a punishment because my parents sent my dad's an art professor in China. And
Oh, okay.
my parents are separated, but they still talk and
Yeah.
everything. And I was raised here, and I was just a terrible student. Like I barely graduated in middle school. My mom's like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. So she was like, what are we gonna do with you? So she called my dad, and my dad's like, why don't you just have him come here? I'll enroll him into the school, and they'll teach him some discipline as well as some drawing in the meantime, and so that he won't be like homeless in the future. So that's kind of like how I got my start. I really was like the odd one out there because everybody that was at that school, they all tested to get in. They've been training since they were like 5.
Wow.
So everyone there was like super super good, even to this day. Like I still think like some of the people there, I've never seen anyone better like in drawing, and those are like 14, 15-year-old kids.
Wow.
Even to this day, if you want me to kind of do a draw off with them, it'd be pretty so yeah, I was there for a year and a half. Like when you're like in a new environment or like a new country, even though
Mhm.
you just start picking up the language. So I started picking up the language of drawing because I just see how everyone else is kind of doing it, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how I just kind of picked it up. I didn't really like drawing at the beginning, but I just picked it up because everyone around me was doing it, and they were doing it in such a high level that it was kind of near impossible not to pick up.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I came back to the States, and it was weird because at China, for after a year and a half, I was considered average, a little average, right? But then when I came back to America, no one here has gotten training, especially people in high school. So
Yep.
I was automatically considered like the best, and I guess I kind of like that feeling. So I'm sorry to say, but
Yeah.
honestly, it was narcissism at the beginning that fueled me at the beginning. Uh, so I kind of let that fuel me for like the first couple years of my journey, all the way until I even let it just kind of help me get into college, right?
Yeah.
Went to I got into a art school in the East Coast, but I was only drawing that time. I was not painting. I did not know
Mhm.
how to paint. They did not teach us how to paint in China, so I was very foreign to that. And when I say uphill battle, I really mean it because I tried painting in high school, uh, senior year, right before I went to college. I showed it to my mom. Now, keep in mind, most people can just chalk it up to the fact that the parent doesn't understand art.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, if they are saying, you don't. My mom's been traveling the world with my dad, traveling all to like all these galleries, museums. Like she's been around. She knows all like the famous artists in China and Europe. So she's talking to me from a place of experience when she told me, "Oh man, like your colors look like dog crap. Like never, ever try to paint again. Oh my God, you need to, you gotta like, oh, this is not for you." Like both her and my dad, they were both like, we understand what it takes, to like make a living as an artist, and you just don't have it. Like I don't, your colors look like they were done by a 5-year-old. Ooh, never,
Oh,
never do this again.
wow.
Yeah.
That's tough love.
Yeah, so when yeah, so
Well,
when I did go to college, I it was only when I went to the museums, my school took me to a museum and I saw my first John Singer Sargent painting.
hmm
And I don't know if you know that person, but 19th century
Yep.
American naturalist painter, very, very good. Honestly, one of the top portrait painters. I saw that and I was like, oh my God. And that was actually the moment where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a try. So for the first 2 years of college, I lied to my mom, telling her I was a graphic design major, but I actually was trying. I was like an oil painting major. Of course, the school didn't really teach us techniques like this,
Yeah.
so I kind of had to like cut class all the time, go up to New York, paint with the New York painters, and I
Oh.
mean, even though I graduated school with like a 1.5 GPA,
Mm.
because I kept cutting class, because I
Yeah.
kept needing to learn the technique, and that's kind of how I got my start.
What school did you go to out there?
I went to the Maryland Institute College of Arts.
Okay.
MICA. Yeah.
Micah, got it.
It's a cool school, but they don't.
Steven had asked. He's like, "Oh, which school?"
Oh, yeah.
And so you were told by your parents that your painting was doo-doo. You
Yeah.
cut class to learn the technique. So you really just you
Yeah.
wanted to do it. That
I
urge
just,
was in there.
yeah, I didn't have money for classes either. So what I did, I tell this to my students sometimes too. I was like, you do this too, because I didn't have money for the $100 of classes that
Yeah.
they had in New York. But what they did have in those like really good institutes, like those Atelier, who was going to be there.
Yeah.
And then I trained myself to recognize who's the best in the room, and then I would set myself right a little bit behind them, and then I just start stealing. And I don't teach this outwards because I don't morally I can't, but I sometimes will teach my private students, this is how you take,
Yeah.
this is how you steal, this is how because like it's not their technique either.
No,
They
no.
study this
Yes.
elsewhere too. They that's how the old masters grew.
Mhm.
And I think I just kind of do that.
And Maddie says
Oh,
hello.
hey Maddie, what's up?
And so I can definitely tell you from my experience, even if you did the exact same technique as somebody else, every single person's brush stroke is like a fingerprint.
Yeah.
The way you hold it, the
Yeah.
distance. So even if you copied somebody directly, you'll never copy their stroke.
No, absolutely not. And I think for me, I never had a direct teacher. So I never had that issue of looking like this person. I
Yeah.
was just taking a little here, taking a little here, and taking a little here. One of my good friends had a quote, and he basically said, you copy one person, you're a copycat, but you take 10 people's unique, like, strengths, and you mix it all together. You're the most original artist in the room.
That is great. So it's funny. I in when I was younger, I practiced martial arts,
Oh.
multiple different ones, and
Yeah.
one of the ones, Bojinkan, which
Mhm.
is what used to be ninjutsu. Ninjutsu doesn't
Mhm.
exist anymore.
Mhm.
What Grandmaster Hatsumi did
Mhm.
was he took different instructions from the
Mhm.
different styles
Yeah.
and put them under Bojinkan and taught that as the method,
Yeah.
and that became the preferred method. So it sounds kind of like that. If you take just a little bit from all the different
Yeah.
arts, it becomes your own art, and then it's yours.
That's what Bruce Lee did with Jeet Kune Do,
Jeet Kune Do, absolutely, the 1-inch punch and the way of water. A big fan of Bruce's. I was one of the kids that grew up going to the video store, getting the Bruce Lee videos, watching
Nice,
Chuck
nice,
Norris
nice.
attempt to
Yeah.
be that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And all the great overdub movies. Yeah, absolutely. Now you said my student, so you are a teacher. Tell everyone a little bit about you as a teacher.
For sure. I never thought I was gonna actually be teaching. But just kind of started. It started actually around sophomore year. I actually tried to get a job. Everyone was getting a job during sophomore year of college. And
Mhm.
I was like, well, I should get something on my resume, right? So initially, I was just gonna just do the regular cafe job or whatever that all my other classmates were doing. And I told my mom about it, and she's like, you better not do that. because if you did do it, because if you did that, then like it's a waste of time. Like you have a skill, use it. So she's like, you better get a job that's art related. So I still was lowballing myself. So
Yeah.
like those sip and paint places.
Yes,
So
yes.
I actually tried applying to one of those places, and they turned me down. But they actually called me, and they're like, "You are way overqualified to do
Oh,
this." And
okay.
she's like, "We will feel bad if we accept you." And she's like, "You know what? Give this place a call." It was an actual like art studio, like a workshop institute, and they're like, "Give
Yeah.
this place a call. Tell them we referred you, and you know, tell them you're willing to teach a workshop for them, and the teachers, like we will come take your class, along with I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people." So I eventually, eventually I did that, and the school took me in, which is crazy because I realized like most of the other teachers who were teaching workshops there, they were like professors who were like
Yeah.
teaching around, like my school. Some of them were like in my school, right? So I was a sophomore at that time, undergrad, and they, promoted my class,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I think my first class, man, I think shoot, I got like 20 students. A lot of them actually have been painting longer than I've been alive. Like a lot of them are like professional artists. And I was like, man, but it was cool. And I did that for 2 years.
Mhm.
It was great. The pay was super great. I was getting paid like, 3 figures per hour. It was awesome. Like
Can't argue that.
yeah, no.
Steven said he actually used to live down the street from where Bruce Lee had his Oakland studio.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Steve knows Northern California pretty
Yeah,
well
yeah,
from
yeah,
my understanding.
yeah.
And now, so you went to China. You picked up drawing there. You came back
Yeah,
over here. We're
yeah.
told that your painting is terrible by your mom, and now you're a teacher. Now, as you're a teacher, you're doing like traditional portraits.
Just classical techniques.
Yeah.
I honestly started teaching just because I was kind of like tired of the fact that there was no good instructions being offered.
Yeah.
So, I taught the workshops for 2 years from sophomore to senior year. After I graduated, my, then girlfriend, now fiance, like, Jessica, she wanted to pursue concept art.
Yeah.
Which she is doing right now. She's a lead concept artist, so she did it. But, we were like, well, we can't stay in Baltimore because there's no scene here. So we had to come back to California, which was great because I'm like, hey, I have something here. We couldn't move to LA first because you had to drive in LA, and both of us didn't know how to drive, didn't have a car. So we moved back to NorCal first, like around the San Jose area. And, there was no LinkedIn job offers for oil painters or classical realist, drawers, right? So, what I did was like, you know what? I've been teaching. Why not just do something else here? So I did it. I just cold emailed a bunch of studios
Mhm.
with my work. A lot of them got back to me, and eventually this one studio, they were like, "Hey, listen, we're not gonna let you teach our curriculum. We believe you have something special. Like, we're gonna give you the biggest room in our new building. We can be business partners, and you just do your own thing."
Wow.
And I did that. And that's what led to the creation of my first atelier, where I was teaching 19th century classical realism techniques, things
Mhm.
that I wish people taught me.
Yeah.
And it was, it initially was like, the studio that offered that job to me, they were like, they were mainly teaching kids, right? But
Yes.
they had a lot of money and they had a lot of, space. So, and the techniques I was teaching definitely were not targeted towards kids.
Yeah.
So I first targeted their parents who were waiting. I was like, hey, you guys want to learn this? And so my first students were a couple of students were like just parents. And then I started getting students who were, high schoolers
Mhm.
and the college students. And then I started getting students who were slightly younger. And I was like, I don't know if you can do it. But then they started proving me wrong, like these 14-year-olds, then 13-year-olds, then 12-year-olds. And then some of my youngest students are 10-year-olds. And
Wow.
no, literally, like if you look up, if you go on my Instagram, it says director of a KLQ studio on it. Oh, can you actually show?
Yeah, I got through here,
Oh,
man.
you can? Oh. So if
Absolutely.
you just go into KLQ studio right there, you can kind of see, yeah, like that's actually one of my, youngest, one of my youngest students. Like she was like, I believe she was 10 at that time.
Wow.
This is like after a few months of training with me. But yeah, I was just teaching them this because nobody was teaching this, not even in college, right?
Yes.
And, it grew to over 100 students, after, like I started in 2018 and then 2020 hit, pandemic hit, had to like put everything on online and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got my start.
And for everybody, absolutely follow Kai,
Oh.
follow the studio. Get in there, make sure you put a heart on everything,
Oh man.
comment on what you like, get the algorithm moving. Because trust me, we all appreciate that. So then you're teaching people, you've got people of all ages, and you're teaching classical, and then somebody asked you to paint something, and it
Yeah,
changed everything. Can
yeah.
you tell me how that happened?
My philosophy when it comes to teaching is if you're in a class and they're saying, "Oh, I'll teach you how to draw a face, or I'll teach you how to draw an eye," get out of that class. They're not teaching you how to draw. They're teaching you a formula for
Mhm.
that specific situation, and that's not you won't get anywhere. It's like following a cookbook, trying to be a chef. You know what I mean? You're not
Mhm.
gonna get anywhere with that, right? So my philosophy is I'm not teaching you how to draw certain things. I'm teaching you how to draw. I'm teaching you how to paint. I'm teaching you how to break things down so you can do anything. You can draw and paint anything. You should never be limited to subject matter.
Yeah.
And one of my students was like, "Well, put your money where your mouth is. Like, why can you like when they just said it as a joke. They're like, "Oh my god, can you like paint Grogu? Like, can you paint Baby Yoda?" And then I was like, "Okay, sure. I've never tried it before. I always steered away from like stuff like that because it was
Mhm.
fan arty,
Mhm.
and people from my circle are not for that kind of stuff, because come from the fine arts circle where
Yeah.
they're painting like still lifes and portraits and figures and stuff. So I'm like, it might be fun. So um, artist that I really admire is Richard Schmidt. He's the person that I kind of, I read his books. That's kind of how I learned the oil painting techniques that I used even to this day. And I was like, why don't I do like a Richard Schmidt? What happens if Richard Schmidt were to like paint a Yoda, like a baby Yoda? So I was like, let's try that out. And
Yeah.
then like I did it, and I was like, this is so fun. Oh my God, this is so fun. And then, I mean, my students were like, oh, that looks so good. And then, and that was kind of it. I was like, wow, this is actually really fun. And then I just started doing more like incrementally, like, not all at once, but just a little bit here and there.
Mhm.
Right. And then, my fiance started doing conventions. And then I walked around a convention. I was like, wait a second, there are people here that are just painting like superheroes, but they're trying to do realism and it's cool. But I also noticed that like there's no oil paintings here. So I was like,
No.
what if I? Yeah, she actually was the one that suggested that to me. She's like, you can easily do like come here and start selling, and people will probably dig it. And I was like, I don't know. Like I was so hesitant at first because I'm like, I'm an oil painter. I've come from
Mhm.
that world. I don't know if people will actually take me like like take me seriously. I didn't really earn any credentials in this field. Um, but yeah, I just kept doing it, and I prepared for my first show, for first big show, which is WonderCon actually.
Yeah.
And so so the pieces that you saw that I was like displaying at WonderCon, those were actually just pieces that I kind of just painted all like within like a couple months, like just kind of gathering up a portfolio.
And some people can see right above your head. There's a Spider-Man. It's 2099, I believe. Is that the one right over there?
Yeah, it's like Red Bull.
And that's one that Doug had purchased from you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you met Doug and Trevor,
Yeah, I have.
and Stephen and Maddie.
Yeah.
And what happened? I Trevor I'm told I can attribute this to Trevor. Trevor handed you something and said, "Can you paint on this?" And that was an epiphany in our world. Tell us about the first one that you did and what I'm talking about.
Talk about the covers, right?
That's right.
Yeah, the covers. I didn't know that was a thing.
You
Like
didn't even
he
know they
he
existed.
presented me this, and I was like, wait, they forgot to draw. Like I was like, yo, that's a misprint. And he's like, no, you can make art on this. I'm like, that's a thing. That's so cool. I had no idea. I really had no
Yeah.
idea. So he presented me. I believe the first book he presented me was Wolverine.
Yes.
So that was the first book I've ever painted on. And I actually have experience painting on paper before,
Mhm.
because of all the times I teach, I have to demonstrate on paper.
Yeah.
I prep paper ready for oil painting, so I'm not a stranger to prepping. So that's why I'm like, this is definitely doable. I feel the paper out. I painted on way flimsier paper before and it made it work, so this is definitely gonna work. um you know
I will tell you, and I'm gonna throw T-Bone under the bus here. Trevor loves to say, "I have the first one ever. I have the first one ever." He's like, "I will be buried with this.
Oh man.
It is. I have the first one in history."
Oh man.
So shout out to Trevor. He's got the OG book. Now, there is a certain style that you do. What is it called, and what does it mean?
It's called alla prima. Alla
Alla
prima means
prima.
wet on wet, right? A
Okay.
lot of people, they think when they think oil painting, they think gotta wait for it to dry. That's their indirect painting. That's
Okay.
another technique, right? I do that sometimes too, but my main technique is alla prima. Alla prima was prominently mostly developed like especially around like the 19th century, back when the Impressionists first hit the stage, right?
Hmm.
Because they started going on plein air, like going outdoors and painting outdoors, right? And to do that, you can't wait for the paint to dry. You got to be immediate, right? Guys like Monet was the one that kind of jump started that.
Yeah.
Sargent actually followed Monet's track, and that's kind of Sargent was also repping the alla prima style. And then Richard Schmidt too. Richard actually had a book called Alla Prima, which
Hmm.
it's like kind of like my Bible. I learned everything I know from that book.
Yeah.
And it's like wet on wet technique. It's basically doing everything all in one layer, not waiting for it to dry. And what that means is you have to really think of it almost like sculpting,
Hmm.
as opposed to painting and filling and everything in. So yeah.
And who would think that you would need to go wet on wet to be painting things like water lilies?
Yeah, I mean it gets that immediate,
Yeah.
immediate kind of like quality.
So you've been actively doing this, you said about 10 years.
Yeah,
You've been
yeah,
teaching for quite a few of those years as well.
yeah.
You are now into the genre of, let's say, pop culture, comic books, movies, and such.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, from when you were doing the classical stuff and from what you were doing now, um, do you get the same gratification of capturing, like, let's say, Yoda than a vase of sunflowers?
I definitely get more gratification because I come from painting from life, right?
Yeah.
Like we study from life. So I take that same approach to my paintings, right? So even though like this Yoda, like, the way that I wanted to approach the colors and the way I wanted to approach everything, I wanted to pretend like I'm not copying the photo. I'm
Hmm.
using the photo, but I'm trying to transcend the photo. So it looks like it's still something that's done from life. I always want my paintings to look like, I did it from someone who's like just standing in front of me. You know what I mean? So
Brilliant.
that's kind of like, yeah.
So how exactly, if you're willing to give away this piece
Oh,
of
I don't care.
info,
Yeah.
how do you actually prep the books to protect it from the oil eating through it?
Oh, I mean, just how you prep most things, like just gesso, which is kind of like an acrylic base,
Hmm.
right? And it usually does pretty good. Like I think the only time where that wouldn't work is if you're like just doing it on like really flimsy printer paper, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, so you just apply like a layer of gesso on top, and pretty much it. Yeah.
Outstanding. Now, this is actually something that I'm stealing from Instagram. You had been posting some of your things, and there was a world class Hall of Fame artist who actually asked you that exact same question. Who dropped the name? Who asked you for the prep tip?
Are you talking about Joe
Joe,
Joe Rubinstein?
Joe
Because a
Rubenstein.
few people actually asked me. So I think
Oh, go. Oh, who else? Give us
no, no,
drop
I
names.
don't
Feel
remember
free.
names. But I was like a lot of people have been asking me that, so,
Yeah.
so I know. Yeah.
So you're doing well when the legend himself,
Oh
Joe
man.
Rubenstein, wants to know how you're doing it, and you can bet that you will see Joe now doing it. And when he does it, I will say, "Hey, I know the guy who taught him
Oh no,
that."
I'm pretty sure Joe already
No,
knew. Like it's.
it's very good. So of the project behind us, the 10 behind us,
Mhm.
um, personally, I would and Trevor would love to know which one was your favorite to do
Ooh.
and why.
I have a story for each one of these, like
Oh,
a small story, like for each one of these. Man, the one that I really just it was just like smooth sailing from start to finish. I think was actually Batman. That one right there. Yeah, that one was yeah, yeah. So that one was like smooth sailing from start to finish. um, and I kind of like the outcome of that one. But I like the outcome of a lot of these. Like I was kind of surprised. I didn't expect the Wonder Woman and Christopher Reeve Superman to come out the way they did, just because like
I am gonna tell you, I grew up in the era of Christopher Reeves.
Mhm.
I actually am scared of horses because Christopher Reeve was killed horseback.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the injury that led to his death was
yeah.
horseback riding. So I always joke that Doug has horses, and
Mhm.
he's like, "Oh, you gotta get on a horse," and I'm like, A horse killed Superman. I will never get on a horse.
Yeah.
So I am very partial to this one because
Mhm.
it's a dead ringer for Christopher. You
Oh.
absolutely nailed it.
It was so funny too because actually there was another artist that was so kind to me. Like at the beginning, I met him. His name was Jimmy Mulligan.
Mhm.
You know, he's one of Disney's fine artists, and you know, I met him at WonderCon, and he actually was telling me you should do a Christopher Reeve Superman, and he did this amazing cover too of Superman too, and also Christopher Reeve. So in my mind, I was kind of like, oh man, I gotta make it look almost kind of as good as that, or else it's like so. That one I was a little nervous about. The Wonder Woman one was a little bit of a struggle, just because female portraits usually like their face is like kind of a little bit more softer, so it's a little sometimes hard to capture likeness. But I'm happy the way that the likeness came out, right? Like
It looks just like her.
oh, thank you.
It really does.
It didn't look just like her like the first hour and a half, but it ended up looking like her. So yeah.
Now, one thing that not everybody knows yet.
Hmm.
This is going to be a bit of a knowledge bomb. You typically will do videos of you
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah.
Through your class or just for yourself. You have actually given all of the files to Trevor.
Mm.
Every single person who buys in, gets a book, is going to get a thumb drive with that video on it, so they can actually, in addition to having it on your social media, they can have a viewing of their own painting
Absolutely.
being made.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I started creating those videos because I was, every time I do a demonstration online, I already had the setup because I teach online. So, I'm a mentor on Sentient Academy, and they hooked me up with all that setup. Shout out to Sentient, and so I already had everything that I needed to do, and I was like, why not? I'm already kind of recording. Actually, the first time I recorded, I kind of like through habit. Um, and it was also because no, sorry, no, the second time was through habit. The first time, the Wolverine one that I did for Trevor,
Yeah.
It was actually a demonstration for my students. So I remember I shared that video with Trevor. I was like, you want to see how this kind of came to be? So, I had a commentary. How I teach usually is like I would talk through the whole thing, being very vocal about like how I mix my colors and all that stuff. Of course, the videos that's being shared is more time lapse because I don't think people want to sit through like hours and hours of me just like blabbering on. Uh, but yeah, I definitely think it's really important, especially nowadays in our community, for us to really just kind of share everything because like knowledge is not us. Like it's been around, right? We're everything that we know as artists, it's all already been kind of like figured out. We're just kind of taking.
Yep.
So, I mean, I really enjoy helping out my students. I usually, care more about their careers than my own, and I always tell them, I'm like, listen, in the future, just teach other people, the way that I taught you, like spread this knowledge out because I'm sorry to say, oil painting really is kind of like a dying art almost,
No, truly, sadly, sadly,
yeah. So it's like I'm just trying to do my best to kind of bring more awareness to this medium, right? Even and now to like the pop culture community too. I'm trying to bridge like fine art and fan art, trying to like bridge them together and just kind of have people just know that this is possible and this is still a thing that you should try it out, right? I know like so that's kind of like my goal.
Now, Kevin P. West is actually an artist as well, and he says right there, that's what makes you a great artist, by having no problem sharing tips with other artists. We need to help each other. It's not a competition.
Absolutely, it's not. It's more of a melting pot of information than a competition. I mean, we're all trying to aim for the same thing, which is contributing to this whole artistic kind of well of community, right? So
I dig it. I tell everybody I struggle drawing stick figures proportionately. This is way over my head. I have a great appreciation for it because I know I can't do that. Even if I wanted to, my fingers don't respond to my brain. So Doug says he's back for a bit now. Actually, we do have I gotta get to my sales real quick. We are going to random the box order. Now, each one of these has a number on the back of it. I randomly assign numbers. For transparency, I have a post-it note here. Do I have 10 numbers and 10 names collating?
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, so this is the number, my key. I am gonna random the numbers 1 through 10 7 times via random.org.
Sick.
And that is going to be the order in which we distribute the art. So you will not know what it is until it has been revealed. And the good thing is we will keep all of these outside of envelopes so you can enjoy the art behind me as well as see what's remaining. And you can kind of hedge your bets if there's one that you want. So 7 times, let's random. And actually, what I will do for the first time ever, I'm going to get it to the 6th time. Would you like to hit the button again to make the final order? Just
sure, man.
left click it. All right, there it is. That is going to be the order that we are doing it in. 1, 3, 4, 6, 2, 7, 5, 10, 9, 8. So one of the things we pride ourselves with, Kai, is we are completely transparent on how we do our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our dear friend Doug is the very first person, and he's like, I'm buying the first one. Period. I'm buying the first one. So Doug randomly gets book 1. That is the first one in the randoming order. And I color code everything to make it easier for everybody else. Listen, not for nothing, but number 3, we have this is unique to us. For some reason, the number 3 seems to be pretty magical here.
Hmm.
Every time a box is numbered 3, it tends to be one that is absolutely lights out, even when it's like something that's random like these dragon boxes where nobody knows what's inside
Mm-hmm.
because we randomly number them after we fill them.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, 3 tends to be the lucky number.
Hmm.
So numero uno is Doug. Let me get, there we go, that's what I was looking for. Let's find out what number 1 was. Number 1. Let me see. I'm gonna. Let's see.
Oh.
So that is. Yeah. Okay. I see it. I see it. I see it. What is it gonna be? I mean, they're all hits. Is it? Is it? No. It's. Is. No. Is it? Huh. Is this number 1? It is! Congratulations! How about a little Spider-Man action? Do we have any Spider-Man fans in the house? Steven, I already know you're going to raise your hand. I mean, right off the get, take a look at that absolute beauty. He's like, I love it. Such a great cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. Lady's like, nope. Ha ha ha. So there you go, Doug. Right off the bat. And even though Doug is here as part of the group, Doug is still got a 10% chance of hitting this randomly given away Yoda. So if you want your opportunity to get in for this gorgeous piece as an absolutely free bonus, please do so quickly. Steven says, hey, just because I worked on 2 of the animated Spider-Man movies doesn't mean that I'm a fan. But Maddie says, but he totally is. So there you go. Bourbon. Bourbon just grabbed 3. All right, Bourbon. Bourbon is, so back before I was here, I was at a place that does sports cards and memorabilia.
Hmm.
Bourbon came across me there, and I was his go-to guy to pull high-end sports cards and memorabilia.
Mm.
And Bourbon really enjoyed the fact that I was very honest with everybody. And he has come over here, and now he is a big fan of everything that we do here. So
Wow.
Bourbon is one of those people, if we random anything like this, for some reason, 9 times out of 10, he seems to win. It could be out of 100, it could be out of 5. Bourbon always ends up on top. All right, number 3. I'm gonna show you, and
Mm.
it may be one that we mentioned earlier today. It may be one that we mentioned earlier today. I mean, we did mention Mr. Reeves. Turn that. We did mention Wonder Woman, right?
Hmm.
But there was another one that we mentioned. Oh, is this number 3? He's like, if it's Superman, I will die. How about Batman? Now, you had just said what about this piece?
Oh, I mean, like, personally, it's one of my favorites.
It's literally one of his favorites. And Bourbon is also in the running to get the Yoda as well. He's like, I forget, I collect Batman. There you go, man. You've got Batman. So, Batman and Spider-Man are down.
Wow.
We have Kingpin, Berserker featuring Keanu Reeves. We have Wonder Woman, Superman, the Joker, Storm, Deadpool, and Civil War. So, still tons. Dangle, you're up next, man. Dangle, you got number 4. So as you can see, once we establish the order, we stick to that. That way nobody
Mhm.
can think we're just giving one to somebody we like better than anybody else.
Gotcha.
We pride ourselves on the transparency of everything.
No, that's cool.
All right, Dangle, you got number 4. Number 4.
Mm.
Oh, this one may have been talked about a bunch. It could have been one that people really like. It could be something that is extremely popular. It could be one that has 2 people on it. I mean, that is a possibility. It's not, but that's what it could have possibly been. Instead, Dangle! Dangle! Oh, man! That, my friend, is number 4. Oh, Dangle, listen. I'm not going to lie to you right now. I might as well be a sandwich or a piece of toast because I am all covered in jelly. I am totally jelly that you get to take this home. Congratulations, man. Absolutely gorgeous. And you are also in the running for the... Doug is immediately this. Doug's like, hey, Derek, let's talk. I will trade for that. That is how fast these can change hands here. And I was telling Kai before.
That's so funny that the 3 most iconic characters.
and you saw it. You hit the button yourself.
did,
It's
yeah.
all
That's-
random
That's
happenstance.
kind of funny, actually.
And one of the beautiful things about our community is we will actually sanction the trades directly in our Discord. So
Mm.
it's a safe place for everybody to get proper
Nice.
trades done.
Nice.
So your art as the artist is protected from somebody shilling it to somebody else, and we can guarantee the trades take place as long as they make the trades while they're in our custody.
Yeah.
Dangle's like, sweet, I got the only printed book. And Dangle's like, oh yeah, now you want to trade with me. Doug says, I had an incredible Superman collection. I absolutely love that. I'm not gonna doubt that Doug had an absolutely incredible Superman collection. Christopher Reeves, it definitely is the man. He's one of my favorites, and the reason I will not ride a horse. All right, next up is number 6. So, if you are ready to get in, number 6 will be waiting for you. And I am not going to give you a hint as to what it is. What's going on, Detroit? How are you doing, buddy? Detroit, we are just hanging out with Kai. Kai is the absolutely mind-blowing and amazing painter that brought these amazing oil paintings to your eyes. So say what's up, Detroit. Number 6 is a comic book, I bet. Sepulros, you, sir, must be cheating, because you are correct. Number 6 is a comic book. And it comes with a 10% chance to get the Yoda in front of you for free. Doug is like, yeah, it's definitely a sketch cover. Yeah, Detroit says, what's up?
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Detroit, are you a fan of sports at all? Football, baseball, any of those?
Not too familiar with them.
Detroit knows everything there is to know about the Detroit Lions.
Oh.
He can basically recite every team since like their inception.
Oh, wow.
Which is probably why he goes by AJ Detroit. What's going on, man? Hey, buddy, we already talked about the Detroit draft. I'm just happy that they made the trade with Philly to get that over there. Carlos, you got number 6. Carlos, number 6. Carlos is actually from my old neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
And fix my color code. All right, number 6. I'm gonna. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Kai knows what it is. I've officially shown him. So, Bourbon. Hold on, Bourbon. So Bourbon said, hey, you should doodle on the back of them. Well, Bourbon, what if I told you we are 10 steps ahead of you, homie? Listen, you came here for the best. You're going to get the best. Let me actually put that properly the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to handle this as much as possible.
It's all good.
Like when before you came here, I washed my hands like 8 times, knowing I was going to handle these.
Oh, man.
I was like, I picked up a marker. I'm like, I better wash my hands. I picked up my pen. I was like, I better go wash my hands. All right, Carlos, I have strung you along far enough. I am not going to pretend that you got the Deadpool. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to pretend that it's this one right here. I would never pretend and mislead you, saying it was that one. I would definitely not mislead you and say it could possibly be this one right here. What I will tell you is for certain, absolutely 100%, it is not this one. It is not this one. It is, however, he's like, DC is the worst Vanna White. I will tell you, however, this is number 6, and this is yours. How about a little Civil War? Now, for this one, did you actually digitally set up the photo, or were you able to find one that had them in the right light?
Yeah, Trevor hooked me up with the photo, but I also had to kind of make some adjustments and stuff to make it fit properly.
Carlos, congratulations, the only one featuring 2 people on it.
Yeah, this one took me twice the amount of time.
There you go. Listen to that. It took twice the amount of time of the other ones. By my estimation, that makes it a more valuable book. But I don't know if that's how it works, but that's what I'm going to say. Congratulations, man. A stunner for you. And, of course, a 10% shot at Yoda. Or should I say, Master Yoda. For those who are keeping score at home, number 2 is going to be next. So we have been, no joke, if you ever catch any of the feeds, not that you're probably too busy, but we have been talking about this break for 2 weeks.
Wow.
We have been hyping this, showing everything and anyone wants to see about it. And I would say and my chat can back me up or they can throw me under the bus. This has been arguably one of the most anticipated
Wow.
things that we have done because this is the first time that we're able to really get this high level art,
right.
this oil painting on a comic book. And as you said, it's unprecedented. It's something that nobody else is doing. This is really some cutting edge artwork here.
Thank you. Thank you.
What do you see yourself? Well, okay, let me tip the hand. True or false? Because I know you might not be allowed to say anything. True or false? A major comic book company has approached you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, true.
True or false? If I said the name, which I'm not going to, every single person in this chat would recognize that company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, without spilling those beans, what do you see yourself doing in the near future? What are your new goals now that you've kind of found this different path and this different avenue? What's next for Kai?
Man, I don't even like so many things have happened in the past 3 weeks. I still haven't actually taken the time to process everything yet. So I'm just gonna just do my best to make whatever like the best work I can, and I have no idea. I'm like I said, I'm new to this, so
Yeah.
I'm like I don't even know what's gonna be going down. I'm surprised that they reached out to me and yeah.
So, ladies from Texas, she says DC has been fangirling for weeks. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
fangirling would be that would be good. Doug says the Yoda is absurd. The light work is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Derek says baseball cards are pretty cool. Oh, I think it's about their trade. They're already talking about trades. Where are you going and what are you doing this weekend? Trevor asks.
Yeah, so I got invited as a special guest at Lodi Comic Con.
Woo.
Actually, it was Dan Brereton that hooked me up with that opportunity. He was super nice to me, and he's like, I need to get you up to be a special guest for some of the Comic Cons that's happening. I'm like, okay, and he actually pulled through, I'm like, that's amazing. So, they, approached me and they asked if I want to be a special guest there, and I'm like, I've never been one before, so let's do it, right? And it just so happens that Santa Barbara, which is, where you guys are based at, I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
did I say that?
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody knows where we are.
Cool. And I'm like, well, I'm on the way up to Lodi, so if you guys are gonna be, because Trevor asked if I could come,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, if it's on a Friday, I can just go there a little. I need to set up tomorrow anyways, so works out. So yeah.
Absolutely. Now, when you first got here, there was something about the building, or I should say the surrounding area, that caught your attention. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the view from the studio?
Man, it's amazing. I'm like, dang.
It's not a bad place to work.
No, absolutely not. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Like you saw me recording.
Yeah.
I was like taking pictures and recording. I was like, this is crazy.
I've been coming this building for about 10 months now, give or
Yeah.
take, and it doesn't get old.
No,
It
no.
doesn't. Anytime we invite artists up here, one of the first things they do, I brought you over there. Usually they'll push past me and go, wait, I want to see you over there. Like, yeah, that's the view. That's it.
That's awesome.
All right, let me just double check this before we keep going. I don't want anybody to have to wait too long. All right, good. For those who are curious, up next is number 2. So if you grab a book, you are getting book number 2. Just a reminder. Um, so San Diego Comic-Con. I heard that you were definitely interested in San Diego Comic-Con as well.
You know what? I bumped into this. So I before I did WonderCon, I was
Mhm.
just going around to all the anime conventions. I tried tabling at a few of them before, but it wasn't really the crowd, for
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. But there was one person. I believe his name was Don. He worked in. He was like a DC artist. His last name is Don Lee or Don. Yeah, but he came up to my table and he was basically telling me like he was like looking at my booth and he was like, "Wow, you do amazing at like Comic Con." I was just like, "Oh, cool." And then he's like, "Are you gonna be going?" And I'm like, "I don't know how." And then he's like, "You should try getting into WonderCon, and then through WonderCon you can try, kind of, sneaking in, like trying to get your name signed into SDCC,
Mhm.
because they're like by the same people." And I'm like, "Okay." So I actually only went to WonderCon because I was trying to get into SDCC. Um, and then that kind of backfired because when I went there, they I was like, can I get my name like checked into? They're like, no, that's a different show, and I'm like, okay, thanks anyway.
I
And
tried.
then that kind of backfired.
Carlos, there you go, another view friend. He's like, can I get another view?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Doug says, hey Kai, do you want to do a landscape of the view?
Landscape. Oh man, that's. I mean, I could, but I'm like so backed up in conventions right now. I don't know if I'll ever have time.
Doug, he politely shot you down, bud. He's like, oh yeah, it's him and Derek are still working on that deal. They're figuring it out. All right, there you go. Congratulations again, Carlos. Carlos, what he was saying while you stepped away, this one actually took him twice as long. So you can argue this was the most complex one he had to do for this run. So congratulations. Doug's like, curses. Foiled again. Dangles says, these are awesome. I'd be remiss if I didn't see my options.
Whoa.
Carlos, I have sound effects.
Oh,
Carlos
cool.
triggered the R2D2 wow because he was so excited
Oh man, that's cool.
about yours. Might be a second three-way offer in one day for Dangle. He's looking at trades. Can I see the Batman one more time? I was looking at Joker. Yeah, man. There you go in all his glory. Kai himself said it, one of his faves to paint of the set. The one that just naturally flowed. Yeah, it is, and trust me, Bourbon, you've known me for years. When you get that in your hand, you're gonna go crazy. Abby! Shout out to our friend Abby. How you doing? Abby is Bourbon's fiance,
Oh.
and an absolutely wonderful and lovely person. So
Awesome.
please say hi to Abby for me.
Hey, what's up, Abby? How are you?
There you go. An incredible match set, Bourbon. The Joker is absurd. It is. The I don't know what the best way to describe that Joker, but there's so much going on. If you had to describe your Joker cover and I only gave you one word, how do you describe this cover?
Oh man, one word, huh?
I'm putting you on the spot.
Frenzy.
Frenzy, frenetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. I'll have to adjust all of these tomorrow to make sure they're not getting the shine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let me catch up. We're starting to go fast. Hello, Bourbon's betrothed, aka Abby. Well, we're good. Fantastic. Hellbolt's giving you a shout out as well.
Oh, thank you.
Hellbolt's actually one of our mods on
Oh,
Twitch
wow.
and an absolutely amazing human being.
Oh, that's awesome.
He has a really good podcast about mental health and coping with reality and how
Mhm.
important it is to keep your mind right as well as your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else? Maddie hates the Joker cover because she hates clowns. So I think when Maddie's birthday comes, we're gonna have to do a clown break. We'll
man.
do it. We'll do both its. We'll do the current Pennywise and then the
Oh, man.
Tim Curry Pennywise. We could do a John Wayne Gacy. That would be a good clown. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We could. Have you ever seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I have.
That could be a fun one. Trevor's like, we'll just call it Triggered Boxes. Ronald McDonald. There
Oh,
you
man,
go.
That's the most
Now we're-
scariest one.
It is. That's right. Ronald McDonald is scarier because he kills you slowly by clogging your arteries, and it's a more painful death. Where the other ones, it's over fairly quickly. KP's like, I am all in for that break. One of the things that Kevin P. West is
Mhm.
absolutely mind-blowing on is his attention to detail and especially the horror genre.
Mm.
So if you ever want to do a mashup with somebody, KP is the guy you want to do a horror
Awesome.
smash with.
Yeah.
Homie, don't play that. And Maddie says, yeah, you guys suck. We love you, Maddie. Don't get fussed. It's all in good fun. Now it has been just over an hour. So I know you have you have to get moving.
Yeah.
I want to actually give you the floor. If there's anything you want to
Oh.
talk about, anything you want to shout out, talk about some future products, anything you want to push, please go for it. If not, then just
I-
wave and we can call that an hour.
I don't. Where's the camera?
Oh, the camera's
Oh.
dead ahead above the mirror.
Hello. I don't have anything. Not really. Like you
Okay.
guys can follow me on Instagram to like check out like any updates. But yeah.
Cool. And again, let's pop up that Instagram. There it is. And yes, I've seen this piece in person, and it is lights out fantastic. I mean, look at this. The progression, and then just unbelievable. Question for Kai.
Mm.
How is the pressure coming from How is the pressure coming from a mother who is an artist? Does that have an impact on how you paint? Did that affect you in the beginning? Her opinion of your painting.
Wait. Sorry. hold
So
on.
your mom being negative towards your painting originally, how did that affect you in the beginning when you got that negative criticism?
I mean, my mom has always been kind of like the Asian tiger mom, so she's always been very.
I
critical.
understand that. Yeah.
So it didn't really affect me too much. It's actually really funny because after I just studied I kind of practiced by myself in secret for 2 years, and then it was only when I started winning awards and starting selling in galleries and teaching, I finally just sent her a few of my good paintings.
Yeah.
Over on WeChat. I didn't with no context. I just sent her the pictures. I just wanted to see what she said. Right.
Mhm.
You know what she said? She was like, who painted these? Was it your teacher? You should study with them. They know what they're doing. You should. And I was like,
Oh.
no, I actually did these. And she's like, no, you didn't. And I'm just like, no, I actually did. And she's like, no, you're lying. And I'm just like, okay. And then I started making time lapses. Actually, how I started making time lapses. And then I sent her a few time lapses, and then she's like, oh. And then I was like, yeah. So she's like, I always knew you could do it. I was just like, and then now, every time I try to remind her, I'm like, hey, remember that time when you said? She's like, I don't remember that. Your dad told you that. That was your father. That was not me. I've always believed in you. Why were you even doing graphic design? What? You should have just gone straight to painting. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. That's really good. So now she is.
she's asking me for lessons. I actually am she's asking me to teach her because she's like, I want to retire and paint in the coast of Italy, and I'm just like, cool.
That's brilliant. Now your dad. What does your dad think of your work, being his profession forever? What does he think?
He's never really taught me and I'm happy that he didn't because we are such different artists. He's a abstract expressionist artist actually, so he does
Oh,
more
that's actually
abstract-
pretty cool.
Yeah. And you can probably Google. He's on Google.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Google, if you Google, It's Jian Xiong, and then Xiong, and then oh no, so and then like last name is Qu. Oh, so the last, so it's Jian Xiong and Qu. So it's like my last name.
Got it.
Yeah. And yeah, if you go on images, yeah, so these are some
Okay,
of.
hold on, let me get
In fact, actually, here, try putting his last name first, like Q.
the
Jianxiong.
traditional
Yeah, traditional
style.
way. I
Got
think
it.
you will get more results like that. Because these are his older stuff. Like those are stuff that he. Yeah, so that's him right there.
Oh.
If you actually scroll down, he used to do realism. That's actually an oil painting he did of me when I was like 1 year old.
Oh, no kidding.
So this painting actually was like it was big. It was taller than him. Yeah. So this was me when I was 1. So I tell my students, if you want to see what I looked like back when I was like 1, that's what I looked like. And to give you an idea how big it is, like maybe like go to this head right here, like point to that head. That head is the size of like from my head to like my chest.
Wow, hold on, let me
So-
have them show
So
you.
it's like this. It's like this big. Just
Wow.
that head alone.
So
Yeah.
it's a massive piece.
It's a massive, almost like mural-like piece, but it's all done in oil paint. That's what he used to do, and now he's doing abstract expressionist paintings. And he's had galleries in Europe and all that stuff. It's great. And he likes what I'm doing because he's like, it's so different. He actually was about to ask me to give a lecture on a la prima painting and do a demonstration at his university in China, and then COVID hit, and we couldn't
Yeah.
really do that. But that's what he does.
Is this his chop?
So yeah, that's his like signature, but these are some of his recent, like the black and white ones.
Yeah.
Like these ones, these ones are like his recent ones. I don't understand it. I don't think he even understands it either because I actually asked him, "Can you explain to me like the concept behind these?" And he was just like, And then my stepmom, who actually was my first drawing teacher,
Yeah.
she's like, he doesn't know either. He's just like, BSing. Like, I'm like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, I actually learned about another artist that we work with, Bing. Bing Kung is his full name. He explained a chop to me because he has his own chop as well, and I actually don't have any of his stuff. I have a couple of graded. I had him do some covers for me, and I graded them, but they're at my house. But he has the chop, so now I'm always looking at traditional pans like, oh, there's the chop, there's the signature. Dig it.
That's awesome.
All right, so Tony Moy has a great chop as well. That is true.
Oh yeah.
Now, Kai does have to go because he is actually in transit, and we're about to lose the last of the daylight. So I am going to continue the stream. I am going to put everybody on just a little 1 to 2, let's say a 2 to 3 minute break. I'm going to put you on the starting soon screen, and then I will be back. Please don't go anywhere. Keep the chat going. Everybody's giving you shout outs. Everybody's saying hi.
Oh, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
No, man, listen, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and
Absolutely.
coming to visit us. All right, everybody, I will be right back. I will see you in 5. right, everybody. How absolutely unbridledly amazing was that moment? All right, it's going to get loud. You're not going to like it, but hold on. All right, there we go. Crackling should be over now. Hello, Mel. Hello, Jimmy. You just missed Kai. And what an absolutely amazing and hilarious interview we had there. That was so great. I'm so happy that he could join us. And again, I am going to show. Give this man a follow. Follow the studio as well. The videos on here are amazing. You can literally grab a bag of combos or Doritos and spend a good portion of your afternoon munching on some chippies and watching his videos. It is great entertainment. Absolutely. So 4 down, 6 to go. Joker, Storm, Kingpin. We have Daredevil, Berserker, and Wonder Woman, who it can't be seen because of the light. There we go. Kai is awesome, by the way. He is good people. Yeah. The John Wick book. I got to do it so you can't see the number. Yeah. I would love to find him cruising around on his motorcycle here in LA and get him to sign this bad boy. Do it in some like gold pen right over here. Or down here. Probably right here. Maybe a silver or gold Keanu. So dope. Right? Hey, Mondo! ¿Qué pasó, mi amigo? Let me... excuse me. All right, there you go. Love that Joker. Yeah, Dangle, we took care of all of them, man. Hello, Mondo family! The family tasked with the monumental task of keeping the Quan at bay and dispersing the Quan as needed. That is you and your family. Mondo, this Yoda we're giving away for free. If you buy one of the modern day Renaissance books, you will be entered to win this absolutely gratis. So every purchase is worth a 10% chance of hitting the free Yoda. This is about, I forgot to ask Kai, but this is about $1,000 piece of art from Kai. His books, if you were to reach out and be put on his waiting list, those books are about $500 a piece now. That is the going rate for a comic book for Kai. So you're actually getting them for $100 less here than if you were to commission him directly. Because we are very adamant about passing on deals to you. With that said, you've heard him say it himself. His stuff is going up. It is getting original. Oh, that's an original oil painting, boss. Look at that. As a matter of fact, it was really funny. I had it set up like this. Kai looked at the screen and went, no. He's like, so with the oil painting, you want to put it at an angle. That way the light catches it just right. You want to keep it dark near the saber and allow just a little bit of the glare that you're going to get on this side. And he literally positioned this so that it would look great on camera. the man is fantastic at what he does. Yeah, it is all good. So if you missed the interview, the first hour with him on here, I highly recommend when this uploads in about an hour, watch it. It is very informative. It is a great conversation. He is a wealth of knowledge. Absolutely. Nobody, and that is actually something we touched on in the interview. Nobody is doing what he's doing. I mean, Ross is doing the oil paintings, but he's not doing them on covers. So this is really a brand new, to this level, to this extreme, in this style. This is really the only time it's being done. This is very new. This is something that is cutting edge, and it is something that is absolutely going to skyrocket in price and value. All of you know and have known me for years and trust what I say, and I am going to tell you straight up without any lie, we will not be able to do a ton of these. This is the most expensive thing we've done. This is our first really big high-end run. And with how popular Kai is becoming, and with the contracts that I can't talk about that he has been getting into, that he even said he couldn't talk about, there are not going to be a ton of opportunities for us to do this. So these are definitely extremely unique, and I can guarantee you these books, the moment you buy them, you have already got $100 of value on top of what you paid. Because if you were to approach Kai and ask for a painted cover, he's going to charge you $500. So because we got these really early, we got and kind of helped him get into this realm, and he will tell you the exact same thing. We were able to get these at a great value, and we wanted to pass the value on to you as well. So, hands down, these are going to be worth way more than what you're paying for them because you're already making $100 off the top. Now, I say that it feels dirty to say because we don't want you to resell these. We want you to buy these because they're amazing pieces of art. They're actual oil paintings that you will own in your home. And they're done by an artist who is literally a teacher in his field, whose mother unwaveringly supported him and never claimed he couldn't do it. He did sign it. I've already broken 4. Mondo, they're available now. The 6 that are left, it is Kingpin, Deadpool, the Berserker, the Diana, aka Wonder Woman, this gorgeous Storm, and the Joker. Those are the 6 remaining. Next up is number 2. They have been random. Kai actually saw the list. He verified the list, so nobody could say that I am cherry picking them. So the artist himself confirmed the order, and we randomed all of them online 7 times, with Kai actually hitting the button for the final randoming. So the order is 1, 3, 4, 6, which are already spoken for, then 2, 7, 5, 10, 9, 8. That will be the order in which they are released. So there you go. I will tell you, this is one Kai was very excited to do. Trevor, if I'm not at this Kingpin. Look at Mr. Fisk. That is astounding. Carlos may or may not arm wrestle you for this one. Yeah, the Deadpool is pretty crazy. And then everybody that buys one, we will random this at the end when everything is sold out. This is no joke. This is like the first. Don't get me wrong. We have artists that deal with us that have absolutely masterpiece level stuff. This is the first time that we have done something dedicated to the fine arts of oil painting. And that is why Kai has grown in popularity even over just the last month that he's been doing this, is because when it was recognized what he was doing at WonderCon, everybody had the same, they looked at each other, and when I was introduced to him through Trevor, and Stephen Maddie can probably agree to this as well, everyone was looking at each other like, no, nobody's doing this. This isn't being done. This is different. So yeah, it's spectacular. I actually just talked to Kai. I asked him how difficult it would be to squeeze something for my household in, because I don't own any of his work. And he's like, I'm booked for a while, but I will give you a spot. I was like, oh, goodness, thank you. So yeah, I will probably have to wait a few months before I can get anything done because of the increased popularity that he has seen and the demand that he is in right now. So anyway, I need to get a drink. I'll be right back. Whew, excuse me. And this. Don't do that. The tablet pooped the bed. All right, there we go. It's back and running again. Okay. I am back. Sorry. So, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out today. I have not seen it. Did anybody go out to the theaters and see Guardians yet? No spoilers. But did anybody see Guardians yet? KP says it is awesome. KP, did you cry? We're seeing it in an hour. And KP says, I almost cried 3 times. Please do not tell us all about it tomorrow. I don't want to know. And Steven, I have your comic books, so you better not tell me or you may never see them. Of course, I could just hand you the books and then you could just blurt out the ending. I do know some of the ending, only because James Gunn stated certain things had to happen in an interview, and then when he was later asked about those things, he said, "Oh, I never said that. I never said that." And any time a director says, "I never said that," it means he wasn't supposed to say that. But for those who follow, already know what I'm talking about. He had mentioned that something had to happen and was going to happen and to expect it. And then he suddenly said, "Oh, no, I never said that." There you go. Do not believe anything he has said. All right, well, there you go. There's the answer. I trust Kevin P. West. And if Kevin P. West says do not believe anything he said, then yeah, then I'm not going to believe anything he said. All right, Thanos does not return and snap a third time, but this time with his toe gauntlet. It is all Thanos toes and Thanos toe jam. And he snaps his toes to kill 1/3 of the universe. Carlos says, and you can take that to the bank. Yeah, I know he's a troll. I know. Yeah, let's see. I'm coming in with a preconceived notion. If it doesn't happen, I mean, honestly, a director trolling you is great because you go in thinking one thing, and then when they switch the twist in the plot, you're like, oh man, that's not what I expected. It makes it that much better. So it behooves the director to actually give you red herrings before the movie even comes out. All right, so I am gonna call it a night. If nobody else wants me to open anything, I may call it a night. I know this is fairly short for a Friday, being an hour and a half. But it is, I have been on an adrenaline kick for the last 2 hours. And the adrenaline's finally starting to come down. So I am going to call last call on the week. And we will save some goodies for Wednesday. Excuse me. got the burpees from my carbonated water. Can you please hold my art for a possible trade? Yeah, I don't do shipping until Tuesday. So I will keep your book aside and put it in the to be determined bin. What's the next number? 2. Number 2. His name? Number 2. 2751098. Doug's like, I am tempted for another. I have effectively blown my opportunity to buy one. Good night, Stephen Maddie. I'll see you tomorrow. Don said the Avengers is on the trading block. So I have to bow out because I know the order that the books are in. It would be unfair for me to cherry pick one. So even though I did want to be part of this, the mechanism to do this kind of, I had to bow out. I had to. I did. Trevor had asked me how I wanted to do this, and Trevor and I both agreed we wanted to have this out. We didn't want to cover all of this in a box or in an envelope. So the only real way to do it would be without wasting envelopes. Would be to just number the back of them and random them. So in essence, because we decided to do it that way, I have to take myself out of this break. That is also why I talked to Kai. What's for dinner tomorrow? Beef. It's what's for dinner. So I bowed out. Doug said he wanted in. I had to bow out because I know the order. Well, I would eventually know the order. So I have talked to Kai. I will be probably in a few months, grab something. But I have to bow out. Otherwise, I'm telling you, ask him, DM him, go to his Instagram and say how much for a sketch cover. He's going to tell you $500. I would be saving $100 by buying into this break. But I love you all, so that is the sacrifice. Need that Wonder Woman or the John Wick? That's a good question. I don't know what we're having for dinner tomorrow. We are going to be out of the house. So for those who don't know, we live about 45 minutes from Universal Studios Hollywood. And it is extremely inexpensive to buy a year pass. Literally, a year pass is the same price as a day pass plus another half of a day pass. So our family got the seasons. Steven, I'm up for pizza. So we go as a family. That's our blowing off of steam since it doesn't cost us anything. Parking is free. Steven and Maddie, I'm not going to dox them, but they don't live far from there either. And we play D&D together. So we're going to have a DC family and S&M family. That sounds awful. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. My family, as well as Steven and Maddie, will be hanging out tomorrow. Yeah, Kevin, I caught myself. It got weird quick, but I did catch myself. So the Steven Maddie dynamic duo, with a side of Sir Thomas, will be joining the Breaker family for an outing, including I sounded like Christopher Walken going for an outing, going to see stuff in an outing. We're going on an outing and probably play some D&D. Not Disney. Disney is too expensive. I am too poor for Disney. I am not too poor for Universal. Don is like, oh, here we go. Superman is up for grabs. Ooh. Well, according to my book, I have another one purchased. He likes dice. He is going to sit in his castle, Stephen, and judge us. No, wait, that's not that one. It's this one.
I got a bad feeling about this.
All right, Doug. Do you want me to just reach behind me and grab number 2? Or do you want me to tell you it's the Joker and just give it to you? Do you want me to like pretend it's Kingpin? I could pretend it's Kingpin. Look, wow, it fits on my body. Doug says he's hoping that it is John Wick. It's not. It's not John Wick. It isn't. So don't worry, it's not John Wick. It's the Storm. Hello, Storm. So Trevor will tell you this is one that Kai called his shot on. He's like, I'm gonna do Storm. I'm gonna do Storm. Doug's like, just tell me, show me. You're killing me, you big tease. Who does number 2 work for? A storm is brewing. It's not just a storm that's brewing, if you know what I mean. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de oh my. Yeah, this was Kai's call. All right, who's going to be lucky number 7? Whew. Why is this? Let me fix this. This doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. Lady, that is the major reason we brought him out here. It's true. Let's get a little of the kayfabe going. Let me do an on-the-fly edit. There we go. There we go. Now I look a little bit better. Let me lock that in. Seven Up. You know, Doug, you now have a 20% chance at winning that Yoda. I'm simply saying you have a 20% chance of winning. Do with the information you will. Our giveaways are so big that I imagine eventually people will be trading entries into the giveaways. That is how big our giveaways are. I predict in the future people will trade physical items for just the other person's claim to the randoming of the items. Lucky number 7 is gone. And then there were 5. Or I should say 4, but number 5 on deck. Bourbon. Bourbon, which one do you want it to be? You want it to be the Joker. Yeah, it's not the Joker. Which other one do you want it to be? Those are your options. Bourbon's like, wow, you just kicked me in the nuts. Deadpool. You got it. Wonder Woman. Ask and ye shall receive. Kevin P. West said it's Wonder Woman. And it is more gorgeous. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I may have kissed this. There, you may see the greasy hair mustache mark right here from where I may or may not have kissed the cellophane, the whatever this is made out of, the plastic. I'm not gonna say, but if you notice a smudge right here, it may be from somebody's mustache. Now, I don't know who has a mustache that would leave. I'm just saying, if there is a bit of grease right here on this wrapper, I would have to say it's probably going to be, it probably is going to be from somebody who has a mustache. Now I'm not going to name names. I don't know if there's any mustache. It might have been Grogu. He's got a mustache. Grogu, you know, now that I think about it, Grogu might have sneaken in here, used the Force, and kissed this book. So, just so you know, it's Grogu. You are steaming the wrapper. I mean, maybe the wrapper is steaming me. I'm just saying. Bourbon's like, give me them both. I want a tag team. I'll do it twice. Oh. Um. So in 4 more, when these 4 are gone, we will random. Hey, who's this? Oh, hi, Doug. Doug's like, I want this one. What is this one? Okay. No, he doesn't actually want that one. That just happens to be where he left his cursor when I shared the thing with him. So 5, 10, 9, and 8. One of those is Kingpin. One of those is Deadpool. One of those is Keanu, and one of those is the Joker. Honestly, that's 4 hits left out of 4. Those are 4 absolutely delectable ones. If they were a pastry, I would eat them. That's how delicious they are. Your friend's mom has a mustache. Is she a Battlehammer dwarf? Because a female dwarf's attractiveness is directly tied to the thickness and bushiness of her beard and mustache, according to lore. I'm not kidding. Google it, nerds. Maddie flipping loves John Wick. I still haven't seen the John Wick. We don't get out to a lot of movies. Mrs. The Breaker and Jimmy and I, we catch a couple. We tend to we have the passes to Universal, so when we go out, we typically just end up at Universal. By the way, Jimmy got to ride his first big boy roller coaster. Jimmy is finally 48 inches tall with sneakers on, and was able to ride his first ride for big boys. And he chose The Mummy Returns at Universal, which he didn't know is basically a roller coaster in the dark. So his first one was a doozy, and he loved it. He was nervous, but once he got in, he loved it. So now we are tempting Jimmy with all the great thrill rides, and tomorrow will be really awesome because he will get to ride the rides with Steven and Maddie, which will be a great experience for him as well. June 10th DVD? Yeah, I'm in. Let me see if I can. See if I can do this. All right. So here is my cheat sheet. There is my cheat sheet to show you. That's what I was working off of. And Kai approved it on camera. He looked at it and confirmed it's real. So that is the cheat sheet I am working off of. Oh, negotiating a trade. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're getting interesting. Of the remaining books, all 4 of them I believe are beautiful. I am partial to Deadpool. And the reason I'm partial to Deadpool is I liked Deadpool before he was cool. I like Deadpool simply because he broke fourth wall, and as a comic book reader, I enjoyed being included. It wasn't until my adult life that I realized She-Hulk arguably broke fourth wall more than Deadpool did. And I really do have a hankering to really read through the She-Hulk library now, knowing that she treated the viewer as somebody that was seeing in as well. So I am partial to Deadpool because of the fourth wall break. Then Ryan Reynolds made the movies, and it just made it perfect. So while I don't want to be the bandwagon jumper, I can tell you for certain I liked Deadpool before he was cool. We have a trade. I know, I've really, KP, everybody said She-Hulk is amazing. 2 sketch covers for the Wonder Woman and another piece of art. All right, is it in Discord? It's not real if it's not in Discord. Don, are you talking to us? Trade with Bourbon. 2 Kais for his Wonder Woman and another work of art. All right. Bourbon, I will take your verbal. Pretty cool trade. All right, there we go. Let me make it official. What's the 4th piece of art? Maybe it's a secret. Maybe it's a nude painting of Bourbon on a bearskin rug. All right, I'm back. I just dropped my phone in the bathtub. So the question I have to say, Dangle, was did you drop it in the bathtub because you were showering while watching me? Or were you dropping it in the bathtub because you were bathing a child while watching me? Or did you drop it in the bathtub because you were... Nope, I don't have anything good to say after those two. Derek, there's only 4 books left. So it's already 60% sold out. Derek was taking a bubble bath. From what I know about Dangle, he does enjoy a good bubble bath. Fun fact, he also enjoys a really good mud bath. And typically it's because whatever off-roading vehicle he has does not have doors, roofs, or a windshield, necessarily. All right, Don, love you, buddy. You too, bud. All right, I said it before. I'm going to say it again. Hey, listen, just tell your wife you made $100 instantly. It's like, DC, I know that Bourbon is trying to get rid of all my artwork, so it's probably going to be it. And KP's like, dude, you're the artist I keep the most. Ah, there you go. He likes your 2 tubes. All right, so I did it before. I'm going to do it again. Last call for the weekend. It's actually true, Kevin P. West. I have phone conversations with Bourbon, and he has expressed his admiration for your attention to detail and your work. That's the subject of our conversation. It is so good. So yeah, last call on art for the week, which means it means likely next week, those last 4 books will definitely move, and that Yoda will be in somebody's hands. So get excited. Next week just got that much more exciting. Yeah, it was redundant. I couldn't come up with a good enough word after excited. Sorry. It was a lame sentence. I try to craft all of my verbiage to be appealing. That one just didn't work. All right, last call going once. Yeah. All right, we're going. We're still going. We're still going. 5 is now gone. And then there were 3. So he already got in trouble and dropped his phone. He figured if I'm already in the doghouse, I might as well enjoy my time. All right, Dangle. Dangle, do you want me to slow play it? Or do you want me to just whip it out? How do you want it, Dangle? Do you want it slow or fast? I was like, slow. Slow. Yeah, the best part is I'm not going to move until he tells me. So that in and of itself is anticipation. Dangle.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I know it's why you're here. I know. I also want to point out, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you will see a little scrolling bar. If you notice, I didn't even bother putting Modern Day Renaissance up there because I did not even expect this to last more than 2 shows. And it wasn't even worth my time typing it because I knew this was the bee's knees. Yeah, True Lies, that is the best. Yes, that scene. Make it nice and slow for me. No, he hired the guy with the other guy to say it. That's right, he didn't say it. He said, yeah. Make it nice and slow for me. What? Why do you have me reading this? What is this garbage? Just do it. Just read it. So listen, I need somebody to find out where Dangle is. I am concerned Mrs. Dangle has murdered him because he has not responded. Does anybody have eyes on Dangle? I need eyes on Dangle. We need a welfare check on Dangle. He's probably drowned in the tub along with his phone. He said his phone is waterproof. He's probably right now realizing that it's not. He's like, oh, wait, no, there goes the screen. He is now scrambling somewhere. Bourbon's like, I am on the phone with him literally. I had to refresh. Dangle, do you want it nice and slow, or do you want me to just whip it out? Oh, the bee hit me with a toaster. My favorite line from that movie. Oh, the bee hit me with a toaster. I love it. He doesn't answer. He just gets the slow play. I'm fine with it. I'm here no matter what. And I know there's at least one other person waiting to see what this is before they decide to buy. Brother, I wish I was hourly. I wouldn't mind being hourly. What the hell was that? Don't do that. There we go. Don't ever do that again. That was terrible. Computer's like, hey, I'm here. I don't care. I know you're here. I'm sitting in front of you. It's already, Benz. That's right. It's already slow. Okay, so Dangle, do you want it slow or fast? It's already been 20 minutes, so I mean, 80% of the guys in this chat are already spent. All right, so number 5, confirm, number 5. All right. 5 is... Ooh, number 5's a little DP. Number 5, Deadpool. Johnny 5 is alive. What the crap? There you go, dude. Deadpool. It's so good. It is so good. Dangle, so good. It's so great. It's so great. It's so great. It's great. It's so great. It's so great. It's great. It's great. Oh boy. Look at that. Los Locos kick your face. Los Locos kick your into outer space. I love me some J5. I love Johnny Five because I am an unabashed lover of all things. What's the best way to put this? I don't want to say the name because all of the girls in the chat will swoon, and I don't want to be responsible for any head injuries. But I'm a Gutenberg stan. So it's down to the Joker, Kingpin, and Berserker, aka Keanu. Ladies like, yeah, me too. That's why I didn't want to say the name, lady. I don't want you to fall and hurt your head thinking about the wonderful, luscious curls on the man's head, the devilish smile, and the dimple. Who really exemplifies the 80s other than Mr. Steven Gutenberg? All right. Listen, there's 3 left. Third time is a charm. I'm going to ask all of you. I'm not going to ask, I'm going to tell. Last call. I'm going to go home. Oh God, Police Academy? Yeah, all of them. All the police academies. I will watch all of them. So good. I grew up on them. I've seen every single one of them about 80 times. And Citizens on Patrol is, I would have to argue, one of my favorites. Like, honestly. He had the one, what was the name of the movie where he played, his friend was a romance novelist, and he was a heavy-set guy, and he lost a bunch of weight. And he had to do the, my name is Lobo, I walk alone. Like, he had the motorcycle, the Harley, and he pretended to be New Zealand Kiwi, and he had the long hair. I don't remember the name of that movie. That was a good one. George Gaines, who played the captain, was his sister Kiki's neighbor. Love it. These are effing awesome. I might be getting divorced, but I got some sweet oil-painted sketch covers. Yeah, he was a cartoon. Yeah, that's right. Lobo Moringa. Yeah, I just don't remember the name of the movie, but yeah, it was a good movie. It was funny. I just remember it. The one scene, she's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you diseased?" He's like, I got a ingrown toenail. She's like, "I don't even care if you're married. Just come in." It was just funny. I just remember that scene. Like, "I got an ingrown toenail." Are you diseased? I have an ingrown toenail. Trevor's like, "Yeah, I've been there, Derek, but it's okay. You still have those sweet covers." Yeah, the name was Lobo. Yep, Lobo Moringa. All right, that's it. Final last call, and I'm going home. There's 3 left, and then we give away Yoda. If we are done, I am going to go enjoy my family, who I will say I have not seen a lot of this week because I have been a busy beaver for all of you. All right, we're shutting it down. I do want to say this, Dangle. I know you're done, and that's great. I want to point out, look at this, Dangle. Dangle, look how good your haul is. I hate to call you out, But man, look at the haul. Those are two spectacular covers. I'm not saying anybody else's were not good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just taking a moment to point out these two oil paintings you now own, Dangle. And hopefully your wife will see these when you get them, and she will realize how fine this art really is. If not, blame it on me. Blame it on me, say it was DC. Honey, you know DC's voice. Every time you hear it, you get mad at me. That's why I have to listen to DC on mute. Because when my wife hears DC's voice, I get in trouble. Trust me, gentlemen, I know, I'm aware. I am aware my voice is like, it's like watching a porno in your home. You have to turn off the volume because you're afraid your wife is going to hear you and know that it's bad. I am put on mute all the time because when the wife hears my voice, they're like, what did you buy? Some of you are looking at it like, that is accurate. That is accurate. Trevor's like, it's true. It's accurate. I had somebody, I want to say, who was it? I actually had an Instagram message from somebody who was like, don't say my name. If you say my name, my wife is going to freak. Call me something else. And I literally had to come up with a stage name for them. It's true. Yeah, Carla's like, I had to lower mine and then you said my name. That's it. And that's it really is. I literally had, and I don't know if I can find the Instagram. I had somebody private message me when I worked at the other place and said, hey, I'm buying this box. Don't say my name. Call me something else. And I was like, well, what do you want me to call you? He goes, I don't know. Just make something up that's ridiculous. And when I see the box, I'll know that the ridiculous name goes with mine. And I came up with the name, what was it? Because I ended up calling him that for a while. It was, all right, Doug, see you later, buddy. What did I call him? Han Slow-Mo. His name became Han Slow-Mo. And it was a running joke that I would call him Han Slow-Mo each time he would do a break so that his wife wouldn't yell at him for spending money. And then he had a P.O. box. So he would have the stuff sent to the P.O. box and he would pick it up after work. And that's how he got around his card addiction. I believe it was Han Slow-Mo. And it may or may not have been Star Wars cards that he was buying. All right, that's my last story of the night. The store is closed. I am leaving. 3 books left. We're selling them next week. They're going to be gone, which means, ladies and gentlemen, next week, somebody is going to have this Yoda in hand. I hope it is you. You know who I'm talking to. And that's it. So, what an amazing week. We had a fantastic Wednesday. We had an absolutely wonderful Star Wars May the 4th be with you. Today was an absolutely enlightening conversation with our new dear friend Kai, and a wonderful up-and-coming artist who is going to blow the doors off of this community. I'm telling you, listen to me. Kai is going to be a very big name soon. That is the fact. If anybody wants to debate me on that, I would love to debate you live on camera. Kai is going to be really pushing the envelope and pushing other artists to do new things on covers. So, congratulations to those who got in. Remember, there's still 3 covers left. You can get on this on the ground floor. But this has been an absolutely wonderful day. I have a feeling we're not going to have a lot of interviews with him in the future because that man's time is going to be taken up. So it was an absolute pleasure to have Kai in studio. And I hope at some point in the future he finds time for us again. There you go, Dangle. I love each and every one of you. Please take care of yourselves and each other over the weekend, and we can come back on Wednesday and do this again. I love you all dearly, and please just enjoy yourself this weekend. Know that I will be with the family and our extended family of Stephen and Maddie at Universal. So if you hear a distant screaming at the top of your lungs, know it is me riding rides because I scream like a girl, and I love it. So goodbye. I love you all.